Good morning, all you 6th graders. So today, for April 16th, you are doing understanding division with fractions and using multiplication to divide by a fraction. So right now, we are going to do number 1, and we are going to use a bar model to show how we can divide. So, ideally, when you are trying to when you're trying to divide by fractions, you want to create, each fraction of this bar model should be the same size. So I'm taking a piece of paper and marking off from this side to this side, and then I'm just going to put the end of the paper here and mark off where it is right here. So I'm just going to place some dots and then I'll draw lines afterwards. So I'm dividing this into 1/5, and we already know how big 1/5 is because they show us right here. On a side note, if you notice that they drew a dotted line into this part, so we can draw in our 1/5. Let me do this really fast. I always forget to mark the last time. I tried to make this video at least 3 times, and each time I forgot to mark the last one. Okay, so these are all divided into 1/5. Over here, they divided the 1/5 into half. So 1/5 divided into 1/2. If you see that this is 14/10, so if we divide all of these into 1/2, I'm gonna go and do dots instead because it's easier using a mouse. So how many of the little ones do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So each of these ones divided into 2 is 1/10, because we know we have 14/10 altogether. 1/10, and we just counted them, so there's 14 little ones, and then the whole ones, the big ones, which I should have used a different color, sorry, these ones are all 1/5. So how many 1/5s do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how many 1/5s make 14/10? 7 1/5s make 14/10. So now down here it's asking you to complete the equations. 14/10 divided by what equals 7? So we've used this number and we've used this number. So we have this, 14/10 divided by 1/5 equals 7. And then they're going to ask you to turn it into a multiplication problem next. So what times 1/5 equals 14/10? Well, we know that there are 7 1/5s and 14/10, so 7 times 1/5 equals 14/10. Now when we go to the next one and they ask you to use a number line, it's almost like doing a bar model. You can pretend that this is a number line, and if this was a number line, just on the bottom part, you would have right here, this would be 14/10, just like it down here, it says 2/3, that's your whole that you're dividing into parts. Down here would be 0. So now we need to come down here and use a number line instead of a bar model to show 2/3 divided by 1/12. So when we do that, Okay, so for number 2, since we do not have a model to show us how much 1/12 is like we did up in number 1, one thing that I will suggest is how many, find the least common denominator for 2/3. So how many 2/3 are in 12? So to do that, we're hitting back to kind of the ratio side, and we need to figure out what this is. How do we get from 3 to 12, right? So we're going to multiply by 4. What you do to the bottom, you do to the top. You'll figure that out, and then you'll get how many 1/12 are in whatever this is by knowing what the numerator is. And what is the quotient? It's just asking you what is 2/3 divided by 1/12. What is that answer? Number 3, which type of model do you like better, the bar model or the number line? Totally an opinion question. You answer it however you please. Yes. Then we go on to using multiplication to divide by a fraction. Okay, so we are going to go back to the lovely 3 letters we use for this. Keep, change, flip. Not to be confused with KFC, like some of my kids were when we went over this, right? So we keep the first number, which we see right here. We keep the 1/2. We change the division sign to a multiplication sign, and then we flip. So we're using the inverse of 2/3. We're going to flip it, and we're going to make it 3/2. So we just flipped it. The 3 goes in the numerator, the 2 goes in the denominator, and then we multiply across. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 2 is 4. So it might help you if you want to go through and just label all of them. Keep, change, flip. Ooh. Not KCP. Well, that didn't work out as planned, but okay. K, C, F. I think it would help me. It's probably what I would have done when I was in 6th grade. So you're going to do that for all of these problems. So they're all labeled for you. You all got the multiplication sign, and you just need to do your problem solving skills. So some of them are asking you for the whole fraction that you're flipping. Some of them are asking you, well, what's the denominator going to be? Or maybe even in this problem, it doesn't give you the second, the dividend, so it doesn't tell you what you're dividing by. You just have to look on the other side to know what the denominator will be, knowing that you had flipped this. So you're going to have to use some skills to notice what you are multiplying, what you are keeping, what you're changing, and what you're flipping in order to be able to do this. So you have 10 of these problems, and then number 11, write a word problem that could be solved by the equation in problem 8. So you're going to look at number 8, and you're going to write a word problem to go along with this equation, okay? So you have 3/2 of something, and you're dividing it by however many 8ths that's being divided by. So write a word problem. Okay, and that is all for today. As always, if you want to log in to the Zoom at noon, anytime from noon to 2. It doesn't have to be exactly at noon. You are more than welcome to. See you later.